So as I was saying before in the previous video, having a blueprint class is really great because that class can be dragged in multiple times to a level and can also be dragged into multiple different levels. Okay, so once you've made your blueprint, and again, a blueprint is like this container that holds components and logic and scripting and things like that there, you can drag and drop that in as many times as you want into as many levels as you want. Okay, so it's really efficient. So you can think about it like, oh, I'm going to script a door. I've got to have 200 doors in this level at work. All I have to have is one door, drag it in multiple times where I need it, and they're all going to work the same. Okay. Now, the way a level blueprint works, and you can find a level blueprint by going to Blueprints, Open Level Blueprint, is slightly different. Now, I would not use a level blueprint as much as class. Okay, I would try and use class as much as possible. If you ever see anybody online in a tutorial telling you to use a level blueprint for something, they're typically wrong and they should be using a class blueprint. Okay, class or level blueprints are really good for one-off things. So maybe a scripted event that's going to happen only in this level, that would be totally fine. But for everything else, you should be using a class blueprint. So to the level blueprint, okay, looks slightly like a normal blueprint editor. It's got the details panel, it's got this top panel, it's got my blueprint section, but you'll notice that it's missing a construction script, it doesn't have a viewport, and it doesn't have a component section either. The components for a level blueprint are components that are found inside your level, and the viewport is actually this viewport here. Okay, so it's a bit weird to get your head around, but yeah, your level blueprint is connected up to your level, and yeah, that's the way it works. So if I wanted to make the same thing here, like a light that turns off, I would actually have to go here and drag this point light in, and this would be my component now in my viewport of the level blueprint. And then to get a reference to that in the graph, I would have to have it selected, and then I'd have to right click and then create a reference, okay, to that point light. So yeah, it's a bit weird. And then it kind of works the same. So I could have a delay node here. If I could spell properly. I could delay it for 3 seconds. And then I could go set intensity for this here. And you'll see that it brings up a new node. It kind of, because this is kind of like an actor object anyways. It has to get the light component in this, and then to set the intensity to 0. Okay, so the scripting's kind of the same, and if I press play, you'll see after 3 seconds that this will go off. But the problem really arises, what happens if I want to have multiple of these in my level? Okay, you would have to go through the exact same process. You'd have to make a new light, get a reference to your light, and then set intensity, okay, for that light component. You would have to redo the script over and over and over again for this to work. Now you imagine that this light is pretty low in terms of nodes that we're using, but you could have really complex objects with hundreds of different nodes working together, and if you had to do that multiple times in a level, it would become horrendous. You would have so much script going on that it would be unmanageable. Okay, so this is why we don't use the level blueprint. You cannot throw instances of what you've made already into a level. You have to recreate it over and over and over again. So just bear that in mind if you're watching a tutorial online and it's kind of like, hey, we're going to do this in level blueprints, turn it off, come speak to me, I will find you a better tutorial. Okay.